Hello everyone and welcome to an ebook haul. This is like over a year in the making. I have two or three notebooks. Now these aren't full notebooks as far as like their normal page count. Like this one's supposed to have 70 sheets. This does not have 70 sheets, but the sheets that are in here are filled front to back with ebooks that I got for free. So these were all free when I got them, and I got these all from Amazon. I get a notice for what's free for the day, and I just kind of go through and download whatever's free. So this is like over a year ago type of a situation for these particular ones, and I'm just now able to film this particular haul. In this particular ebook haul, these are all fantasy books. We will find out together, one, what these books are about, and two, what the age range is, if it mentions what the age category or demographic is. And we will also mention if there's any other tags, like if it's a fantasy romance, for example, I will let you know. So let's go ahead and get into this. I have 29 ebooks to tell you about in this particular video, it looks like. So without, Georgie, you might see Georgie pop up every now and then in this particular haul. So, he says hi. Hello. All right, let's go ahead and get into this and I'll read the synopsis to you. So the first book I have is Magic Price. This is written by C.L. Schneider. This is book number 1 in the Crown of Stones series. This has a 4.8 star average with 542 ratings. As far as genre tags, epic and dark and magic are the other tags. Don't chew on my desk, boy. What if you were born with an addiction to magic? What if your pleasure meant their pain? The brutality of war was all Ian Troy had ever known. Peace was all he ever wanted. Fate had other plans when it placed the Crown of Stones, an ancient artifact of untold power, into his battle-weary hands. With one reckless wish, he ended a conflict that had been tearing the realms apart since before he was born, and paid a terrible price. A decade later, Ian is still haunted by that tragic day, running from the blood in his veins and on his hands. He struggles to forget what he's done and what he is. But when a fateful encounter with a pretty assassin brings his past crashing into the present, denial is no longer an option. Hunted by enemies, old and new, with the realms burning the king and kings dying, Ian becomes embroiled in a violent race for control of the Crown of Stones. As the death toll mounts and deceptions unfold, the path becomes clear. To save the realms, Ian must embrace the one thing he fears most, his own power. And it does say that this is a trilogy. So an immersive epic fantasy trilogy. So good to know. Next up, I have Tuyo, T-U-Y-O. You'll be seeing an image of it. In fact, I should probably move over just a little bit. This is written by Rachel Neumeier, and the series is the same title, and this is the first in this series. So the series and book number 1 are titled the same. This is a fantasy adult adventure. Sci-fi is the another tag. And yeah. Okay, so this one has 706 ratings with a 4.41 average. Raised a warrior in the harsh winter county, Ryo Ingara has always been willing to die for his family and his tribe. When war erupts against the summer country, the prospect of death in battle seems imminent. But when his war leader leaves Ryo as a sacrifice, a Tuyo, to die at the hands of their enemies, he faces a fate he never imagined. Ryo's captor, a lord of the summer country, may be an enemy, but far worse enemies are moving. With the current war, nothing but the opening... What? With the current war, nothing but the opening moves in a hidden game Ryo barely glimpses, a game in which all his people may be merely pawns. Suddenly, Ryo finds his convictions overturned and his loyalties uncertain. Should he support the man who holds him prisoner, the only man who may be able to defeat their greater enemy? And even if he does, can he persuade his people to do the same? This next one is, I think it's pronounced Aether. I could be wrong, but it does have an A at the beginning of it, which obviously you will be seeing. I'm guessing it's Aether, so Aether Witch. Could be wrong, but that's my thinking. This was written by Tarah Benner. This has 968 ratings, so they 4.18 average. Additional tags: paranormal, urban, romance, magic. Obviously, if it's going to say witch, it's going to have magic of some kind in it. So yeah, those are the additional tags, and from what I can see right off, it looks like it might be a standalone. Could be wrong, but I don't see something indicating that right off. So the synopsis reads: premonitions of death, murder in a small town. A killer is on the loose, and the coven fears it might be one of their own. The Grimm sisters aren't normal, even by witches' standards. For weeks, Fiona has been having chilling visions of death, and Eleanor sees restless spirits nearly everywhere she goes. It doesn't help that Mountain Shadow is a strange place to begin with, where rumors of curses fly as fast as saltwater taffy on a warm summer day. When a string of gruesome murders rocks a small town, Fiona and the rest of her coven begin to worry that a fellow witch may be the killer. Even worse, a witch hunter has just moved in next door, and he suspects the coven. When it seems that Eleanor might be the next victim, it will take an unlikely alliance, all the witches' combined powers to stop the killer before it's too late. Aether Witch is Charmed meets Gilmore Girls. Oh, okay, so if you like Charmed and you like Gilmore Girls, this is a combination of the two. So, yeah, so it's saying it's a combination of those. Okay. Let's go ahead and move right on. We have Snowblind, a royal court fantasy drama written by Anna Velfman. And this is book number 1 in the Player series. This has 104 ratings with a 4.25 average. Young adult is the only additional tag on this. A new home, a new destiny. Lana has always yearned for acceptance, and she finally finds it in a quaint village on the edge of the Empire. But her peaceful existence is threatened when she catches the eye of a powerful noblewoman from the distant First City. Suddenly, Lana is thrust into a world of court politics, power games, and dangerous adversaries. As she navigates the treacherous waters of the imperial court, Lana must confront her own desires and make a decision that could alter the course of the Empire. All right. The Trials of the Core, written by Michael E. Thies, 175 ratings with a 3.86 average, and this is book number 1 in the Guardian of the Core series. Genre tags, this also has science fiction as well as young adult. The system of Gladness is unlike any other. It is home to creatures of legend, all-powerful gods and goddesses, lost ancients, reclusive first bloods, and the guardian of the core. All life flows in and out of the system. Should it cease, the universe ceases to exist as well. That is why it is the guardian's duty to protect the system at all costs. However, his time is coming to a close, and he needs to hold trials to select his next apprentice. A haughty yet competent prince, Hydro Payne, longs to seize the power of the guardian and show to everyone who has doubted him that he is worthy of his lineage. Under the guidance of his uncle, orphan Eric Morse participates, hoping only... I'm losing my place. You are distracting me. So, okay, Elric Morse participates, hoping only to survive such trials and having no idea how he was even accepted in the first place. And a tactician, Zane Baris, always living in the shadows of his stepbrother's accomplishments, wants to prove that he is capable of overcoming his haunted past and excelling further than his rivals. None of these participants, however, know that the trials will pit them against others who are just as conniving, talented, and motivated to win. None of them know that the trials will test them in ways unimaginable, and none of them know that, by participating, it might mean the rendering of their identity and the forfeiting of their own lives. With their lives and identities on the line, will one of these would-be heroes find the inner strength and wisdom to emerge a champion and impress the Guardian before the system collapses? It says this is a perfect sci fantasy story for those who love Game of Thrones, Hunger Games, and Aragon. So, there you go. Next up I have is Black Dog, written by Rachel Neumeier. And this is book number 1 in the Black Dog series. This has 850 ratings with a 3.77 average. As far as genre tags, young adult, urban, paranormal, werewolves, vampires, magic, shapeshifters, and romance are all the other tags. Natividad is pure, one of the rare girls born able to wield magic. Pure magic can protect humans against the supernatural evils they only half acknowledge, the Bloodkin or the Black Dogs. In rare cases, like for Natividad's father and older brother, pure magic can help Black Dogs find the strength to control their dark powers. But before Natividad's mother can finish teaching her magic, their enemies find them. Their entire village in the remote hills of Mexico is slaughtered by Black Dogs. Their parents die protecting them. Natividad and her brothers must flee across a strange country to the only possible shelter, the infamous Black Dogs of Dimaloc, who have sworn to protect the pure. In the snowy forests of Vermont, they are discovered by Ezekiel Court. Despite his youth, the strongest Black Dog at Tillamook, and the appointed pack executioner. Intrigued by Natividad, he takes them to Tillamook instead of killing them. Now they must pass the tests of the Tillamook master, Alejandro. Of the Tillamook master. Now they must pass the tests of the Tillamook master. Alejandro must prove he can learn loyalty and control even without his sister's pure magic. Natividad's twin, Miguel, must prove that an ordinary human can be more than a burden to be protected. And even at Tillamook, a pure girl like Natividad cannot remain unclaimed to cause fighting and distraction. But if she's to stay, she must choose a Black Dog mate. But first, they must all survive the looming battle. King's Imagination, written by Erin Grunke. Could be saying that wrong. This is book number 1 in the Shards of Rule series. And this has 29 ratings with a 3.97 average. As far as genre tags, the only additional tag I have is stating that this is a young adult, and that's it. 4. The number of people who know Gavin is the real heir to the throne. The first is the former heir, Princess Andrea, a sword-wielding woman who would attack first and ask questions later. The second is Captain Victoria Azen, the youngest female officer in the king's army, on the run for a crime she didn't commit. Third is Phineas, the wise palace blacksmith, whose strength and knowledge are like a light in the darkness. Last is Deneth, a thief lord who holds the respect and command of the lowborns in the capital city, and he keeps more secrets than he gives. These 4 are the only ones who can help Gavin claim his birthright, despite the unraveling of their lives and the discovery of the one mystery that could change everything. Extreme Medical Services. This is book number 1 in the Extreme Medical Services series, written by Jamie Davis. This has 1,751 ratings with a 3.81 average. As far as genre tags, we have urban, paranormal, supernatural, shapeshifters, medical, fae, vampires. Tops in his paramedic academy training. didn't prepare him for Station U. What was more dangerous, the supernaturals or his boss? Dean needed to learn street medicine fast. He trained to help humans, but he wasn't prepared for injured fairies and monsters. Still, he was smart, willing to learn, and more than anything, incredibly curious to learn about this whole new world he didn't know existed. Would it get him killed? She'd been at this job a while and was less than enthused to be given a new probie. There was always a lot going on, but Bryn has something on her mind. What happened to her old partner? In the dark of night, a society few humans know thrives, and someone wants to bring them down. That's all that one says. Okay. A Forest of Vanity and Valour, written by A.P. Beswick. This is book number 1 in the Leventhria series. I'm sure I slaughtered that. And this has 3,109 ratings with a 3.59 average. Additional genre tags is that this is a retelling. I don't know what it's a retelling for. Maybe we'll find out in the synopsis. It says mythology, adventure, dark, fairy tales, adult, and high fantasy. Okay. An aggressive debt collector banished from the kingdom. Now his life depends on his ability to help the less fortunate. Viro Reinhold relishes collecting his monarch's proper dues, working hard to prolong the fund the king's never-ending war. The self-centered official revels in the perks of luxury that come with his unorthodox role, but his world upends when he unearths an ancient spellbook that promises to unlock a shadowy, forgotten magic. Embroiled in a secret affair with the fellow noble's wife, Viro is mortified when he's forced to commit an unthinkable act. Driven into exile, no longer able to coerce the vulnerable, and with the powerful tome in his enemy's hands, the fallen agent's only shot at survival hangs on his skills at saving others. Can Viro redeem himself as the people's champion before they all fall into a sinister fate? And it does not say what it is a retelling of, so I still don't know. Next I have Path of a Novice, written by R.K. Lander. This is book number 1 in the Sylvan series. This has 2,031 ratings with a 4.31 average. As far as additional genre tags, we have young adult, epic, high fantasy, elves, adventure, and magic. So, okay. Let's see. His face would kindle love, garner hatred, inspire loyalty, and bring persecution. An immortal half-blood becomes a novice warrior and joins the ranks of the Sylvans as they battle the Sandlords and Deviants. He only ever had one dream, to become a Sylvan captain in an army commanded by the dominant Alpine elves, colonizers of the Great Forest. There had once been another dream, though, to know who his father was, but years of unanswered questions later, he told himself it didn't matter anymore. Meanwhile, the powerful Alpine lords weave a story of racial superiority, relegating the native Sylvans to second-class subjects. Village leaders, spirit warriors, and foresters are starting to rebel. Felinar learns the true meaning of warriorhood when he travels as the only novice warrior in a multiracial patrol into the deep forest. As he battles the enemy for the first time, a power unfolds, one he cannot control, does not want. While friendships are forged, a destiny begins to unravel, one that is tied to a past he knows nothing about. For others, though, it is only a matter of time before the truth is revealed and the danger becomes real. Can Felinar overcome his fears, become the warrior he always wanted to be, or will his dreams be stunted by his own shrouded past, by one elf's lust for absolute power? All right, next up I have Wraith Knight, written by C.T. Phipps. This is book number 1 in a series with the same title. I'm not going to try to say it again. You can see from the image what it is. So, yeah. 201 ratings with a 3.78 average. As far as additional tags, we have sci-fi and dark. The king below, enemy of the world, is dead. Will his successor save the world or rule it? Jacob Riverson was once the greatest hero of an age, cut down during what should have been the final battle against the king below. He was condemned to centuries of torment as a wraith knight in the service of said monster. With the destruction of his master, Jacob finds his free will returning and discovers he is in a world torn by civil war between the king below's former slaves and the heroes who saved them. Joining forces with the overly idealistic but brilliant warrior Regina White-Tremor, Jacob must determine whether he has any place in the new world and whether his destiny is a hero or a monster, or both. Meduso, written by B.J. Irons. This is book number 1 in the Mythology. It's like mythology, mythology. I don't know. Book number 1. 84 ratings with a 3.75 average, and LGBT, gay, and retellings are the additional tags. Venomous snakes for hair, a glare that will cast people to stone, beheaded by the tragic Greek hero Perseus. It's a safe assumption that we all know the basic facts about one of Greek mythology's most famous monsters, Medusa, the beautiful maiden cursed and turned into a gorgon. Her tragic story and death at the hands of the hero Perseus has been told countless times for thousands of years. But the thing with Greek mythology is just that. They are myths, narrated fictional legends as old as time that have been passed down from generation to generation. Time has a way of changing the original tale. So, how can we be sure that the myths we think we know are the real story? What if important aspects of these myths have been altered? What if the monster wasn't really a monster at all? What if Medusa wasn't actually Medusa? What if her name was Meduso? And what if she wasn't a her, but a him? This is a tale of Meduso and his death that at the hands of the hero Perseus' sword. It is a tale of innocence, love, betrayal, and tragedy. So it sounds like a gender-bent retelling. So there we go. The Clockwork Scarab, written by Colleen Gleason. This is book number 1 in the Stoker and Holmes series. Wow, 7,177 ratings with a 3.67 average. Steampunk, mystery, young adult, historical, sci-fi, time travel, and paranormal are additional tags on this. Eveline Stoker and Mina Holmes never meant to get into the family business. But when you're a sister of Brom and the niece of Sherlock, vampire hunting and mystery solving are in your blood. And when 2 society girls go missing, there's no one more qualified to investigate. Now fierce Eveline and logical Mina must resolve the rivalry, navigate advances of not just 1 but 3 mysterious gentlemen, and solve murder with only 1 clue, a strange Egyptian scarab. The stakes are high. If Stoker and Holmes don't unravel why the bellies of London society are in such danger, they'll become the next victims. Once Blessed, Thrice Cursed by Coralie Moss. This is book number 1 in the Sister Witches series and has 487 ratings with a 4.09 average. Additional tags, we have urban, paranormal, witches, supernatural, and of course with witches we also have magic. Clementine Bourdois must untangle her dead mother's legacy before the clock runs out. My name is Clementine and my magic is making me lose sleep. My 2 sisters and I have 48 hours to find someone our talented mother could not. If we don't succeed, someone will die. My magic allows me to see memories the dead leave behind, which forces me to relive the moment my mother was attacked by Fae. I must tell my sisters what I've seen, because I know what we need to do. except I'm afraid they're done with my leap now, look later escapades. They've had my back for over 20 years. Why wouldn't they have it now? Arcane Mercenaries, Captain. This was written by Mark August, and no additional tags to tell you about. So, Cursed Magic, Mercenary Blades, the end game begins. Battle-scarred mercenary Grant Gwyndian will do anything to end the bloody mage wars, even surrender his own arcane powers. But when a fragile ceasefire shatters the assassination of a crown prince, Grant must lead his elite team of rogue mages on a dangerous mission to save the kidnapped heir and prevent total war. Pursued by his sinister forces, Grant and his mercenaries race into hostile territory, facing threats from all sides. Ancient enemies and traitors lurk in the shadows as Grant and his mercenaries battle against impossible odds to rescue the heir and protect the Empire's future. But Grant soon realizes treachery runs across the political boundaries and past military alliances. With the church and state aligned against his mages, he's pushed to the brink as he confronts gut-wrenching choices. Can Grant thwart a conspiracy to eradicate magic and escape with his team intact? Or will sinister powers destroy them all? Who knows? I guess I'll find out when I read it, of course. Next is Fastening the Grave, written by L.A. McBride. This is book number 1 in the Callie James series. This has 1,111 ratings with a 3.92 average. Let's see. Additional tags: urban, paranormal, mystery, vampires, witches, shapeshifters, ghosts, romance is like the last tag on here, as well as magic. So, of course, with witches comes magic. Some people attract good fortune. I'm a death magnet. Okay, that already has me intrigued. I'm a death magnet. Okay. Moving across the country and opening a costume shop was supposed to be my chance for a normal life. What I wanted was a fresh start, one where the biggest danger would be a carelessly wielded sewing needle. What I got was the ghost of a murdered reporter demanding justice, a power I can't control, and a new ghost shifter BFF hell-bent on trouble. Now my hunt for the killer threatens to expose a supernatural community determined to safeguard its secrecy at any cost. My only chance to survive is to embrace the legacy I've spent my life running from. And that's it, because then it just says that this is a great book for you to read, and it's the first in a series, yada, yada, yada. So, moving on, I have Infinite Sacrifice, written by L.E. Waters. This is book number 1 in the Infinite series. Additional tags, we have historical, paranormal, Amazon. Does that mean it's in the Amazon or that you purchase this on Amazon? Who knows? Spirituality, sci-fi, time travel, and religion are some of the additional tags. Maya's shocked to discover it's not the heaven she imagined. In fact, a life of adventure begins the moment you die. Zachariah, her faithful spirit guide, explains the rules of the... Well, that's a typo there. Of the in order. Okay. Explain the rules in order to regain complete awareness and reunite with loved ones. All souls must review their previous lives. Maya plunges wearily into her turbulent pasts as a sociopathic high priest in ancient Egypt, an independent mother protecting a dangerous secret in glorious Sparta, an Irish boy kidnapped and enslaved by Vikings, and a doctor's wife forced to make an ethical stand in plague-ridden England. All the while, Maya yearns to be with those she cares about most and worries that she hasn't learned all of heaven's most vital lessons. So this sounds like, just from that it's a reincarnation type story. Continuing on, it says, will she be forced to leave the tranquility of heaven to survive yet another painful and tumultuous life? Or worse, accept the bitter reality of having to go back alone? And that's it. All right, next up I have Echo in Time, written by Lindsey Sparks. This is book number 1 in the Echo trilogy. 4,283 ratings with a 3.97 average. We have romance, time travel, paranormal, mythology, urban, sci-fi for additional tags. Their love is destined to shatter the boundaries of time. Archaeology grad student Alexandra Larson's world is turned upside down when her mother shares her deepest, darkest secret, that she doesn't know the true identity of Lex's father. The revelation sparks a change within Lex, and her dreams become far too real. She sees things she shouldn't be able to see, knows things she couldn't possibly know, terrifying things, deadly things. To distract her from the surreal changes taking over her life, Lex leaps at the chance to join an Egyptian excavation run by Oxford's enigmatic Professor Marcus Bauer. But the distraction might be more than she bargained for. While deciphering the secrets of a mysterious stone tablet, Lex falls headlong into a prophecy created by a dying god over 4 millennia ago. She must rely on her frightening new psychic powers to dig up the truth. And it doesn't take long for her visions to convince her that both Professor Bauer and his excavation are much more than they seem. The past clashes with the present in this paranormal tale of ancient prophecies and warring gods. Okay, this does have the word steamy, so I'm going to say this as an adult. It says, if you like Egyptian mythology, steamy romance, and headstrong characters who won't give up until they discover the truth, then you'll love this book. The Last Descendant, written by Kristina Kairn. It does have Lance Buckley listed as an illustrator, Stephen Perlini as an editor, as well as Raina Williams as an editor. So, okay, not quite sure what's going on there. Collection of short stories maybe, who knows? Fantasy and paranormal are the additional tags. She's immune to everyday disease, but her curiosity may get her killed. Cambridge, England, American pathologist Dr. Abby Whitting longs to know why she never gets sick. The sole survivor of a horrific outbreak 2 decades ago, she's certain the answer must lie in her medical records held under lock and key at a mysterious clinic. But standing in the way of her access to classified files is a charismatic, centuries-old vampire. Tasked with replacing the secrets of the dying predator's blood, he proposes an uneasy alliance in exchange for her documents. But her research soon sends her down a path strewn with murdered clinicians, a vengeful detective, and an obsessed rival in search of fresh souls. And even worse, her shocking findings reveal a disturbingly outrageous truth. Can Abby discover the secrets to her own strange gift without losing her soul? Okay, it does say this is the first novel in the Blood Print Urban Fantasy series. And the only reason, because it's listing 2 editors, it makes me think that this is short stories, but it sounds like it's more like a novel, so I'm not quite sure on that one. Next I have Goal, written by J.W. Webb. This is book number 0, so like a prequel it looks like, in the Legends of Ansu. This has 313 ratings with a 4.02 average. Additional genre tags, we have science fiction. Again, Amazon. Not quite sure if it's that you can buy. In fact, I'm going to click on that and see if it gives me a little bit more information as far as if it maybe takes place in the Amazon or it's one that you buy on Amazon. Okay, it says books about the company, Amazon. Also, books tagged in this genre may be books members have purchased from Amazon or have an association with. Books in this genre label may be associated with the Amazon River, so I guess it could go either way. A vengeful warlock unleashes a cataclysmic evil. Will their greed-driven land heed the warnings or burn? Lisanne Barlowa's dreams are fading fast. Unwillingly betrothed to a pompous brute for political reasons, the Baron's daughter knows her power-hungry father would never approve of her love of a commoner, but she's horrified when he enlists her awful brothers to battle her beloved into a bloody, lifeless pulp. Erin Cade's soul thrives on poetry and high court fantasies. Yet mere words are little help to the blacksmith's son when he's tortured and left for dead by his sweet flame's vicious family. Revered by a mystic saddling him with a deadly mission, he longs to be back with the proud woman who holds his heart. But a far more pressing danger looms on the horizon. Desperate to move on and find happiness, Lysane loses hope as it's ripped into shreds by continued betrayal and death. And after enduring punishing training with an elite battalion, Erin musters but one thought for his home after witnessing an elemental demon's maelstrom of destruction. If he doesn't warn them, everybody will die. Can the star-crossed lovers reunite and deliver the realm from utter annihilation? Okay, it does say this is the prequel, so I was right on that, where it's book 0. Let's see. It says, if you like twisted webs of passion, epic tapestries, and staggering battles, then you'll adore this thrilling ride into war. So I know I said like 29 books at the start of this. It's actually, I will read the synopsis of these other ones that are part of a series. But so 31 books is what I will be telling you about instead of the 29. So let's go ahead and just continue on with this video. Next up I have Grey, written by Cade Cook. This is book number 1 in the Covenant of Shadows series. This is also tagged as a supernatural. It says, 146 ratings with a 4.03 average. It says, enchantments will fail, closet doors will open, and skeletons all dressed in their finest secrets will come out to dance. Okay, I like those lines there. Those are some intriguing lines. Raised in urban downtown New York, Gabrian holds no grand illusions of how life really works, and legends of magic and vampires, nothing more than a bunch of hocus pocus stuffed within book pages or painted on the big screen. But when a woman no one else can see enters her office and delivers a riddle-filled warning about her intended fate, Gabriel's grip on sanity takes a big hit. Terrified, she is falling into madness. As Gabriel untangles secrets of her past, she discovers a powerful hidden world of magic in which there is no return. Now she must choose a side, to walk in the light or to run within the shadows of darkness. Okay. Undercover Reaper, written by Rachel James and Rochelle Workman. This is book number 1 in the Erie Valley Supernaturals series with 169 ratings and a 4.23 rating, average rating. There are no additional tags to tell you about. It says, new town, new job, new supernatural power. I reap the dead and there's plenty of work in Erie Valley. My name is Faith Graves and I'm a detective in the small town of Erie Valley, just outside of Los Angeles, California. A few months ago, I started to see the spirits of the recently deceased. On one fateful night, I accidentally touched one and without knowing how, sent the spirit to the afterlife. No one knows my secret because how would I tell them? Instead, I pretend to be just an average woman with a badge and gun. There are 2 cases my partner and I are working. The first is that of a child who's gone missing. The second involves dead strippers. The FBI is also involved. They believe the murders are the work of a twisted serial killer, and they want to use me as bait. That means going undercover, as a stripper. The prospect is terrifying, even more scary than seeing the dead, but I never was one to back down from a bad situation. As we uncover more about each case, it becomes apparent nothing in this town is ordinary, and the supernatural is everywhere. Okay, that one sounds pretty good. I am intrigued by that one. So, Midnight Rider, written by D.B. Wolfe. This is book number 1 in the Midnight Rider series. This has 160 ratings with a 4.19 average. Urban is the only additional tag. Always read the fine print, especially when you're making a deal with the devil, because demons are sneaky bastards. That's how they got me. Well, and the rest of my hometown. A few hours of what I asked for, and then we were all dragged to hell. Luckily, those jokes about lawyers and hell are pretty accurate. Okay. After a lengthy court case downstairs, I've been released on Hell's very first work release program with the time limit and quota. Okay, this is sounding comedic, and I am really intrigued by this. Okay. All I have to do is hunt down and kill the things that go bump in the night, like rawheads, poltergeists, bunny rips, and dab sogs, and harvest gods. If I kill enough to meet my quota, the souls of the other townsfolk are set free. If I don't, we all stay downstairs, permanently. So, no pressure or anything. On top of that suck salad, a tribe of cannibals want to put me on the menu. A pair of murderous pukas are taking people joyriding, and a teenage hitchhiker with a hot-handed problem is riding a shotgun. So when I heard about a big daddy demon that was hell-bent on taking me back downstairs ahead of schedule, I knew it was time for another challenge. Figure out how to ice a demon. This is just... If I succeed, all the souls in my deal, including mine, go free. If I fail, well, at least I'll go down swinging. But I've got peeps, whiskey, and a sawed-off. What more does a gal need to do the job? Oh my heck. This sounds funny. Oh. That was a fun synopsis. Okay. Alrighty, I had to take a little break to just kind of finish giggling over that. So, alright, let's continue on with what other books I have in this fantasy haul. I have In Solitude's Shadow, written by David Green. This is book number 1 in the Empire of Ruin series. This has 228 ratings with a 4.53 average. Additional genre tags, we have epic, dark, LGBT, and that's it. An army is at the gates of Haltveld, a nation built on war, and nothing is as it seems. Celine Alpenwood, a powerful warrior mage gifted with the spark, makes a shocking discovery that sets into motion events that put her at odds with the very masters she serves. Reuniting with her mother Xana, a woman banished after a terrible crime, they team up with unlikely allies as they attempt to save the Fortress of Solitude from destruction. One thing's for certain, ruin approaches if Solitude fails, and life will never be the same when the banished return. Up next I have Sins of the Heart, written by Eve Silver. This is book number 1 in the Otherkin series. This has 2,970 ratings with a 3.89 average. Paranormal, romance, urban, mythology, demons, adult, supernatural, and gods are the additional tags I'm seeing. Okay. Let's see. Dagon Carroll. Dagon. The underworld's most powerful soul reaper is the demigod son of evil god Setek. I don't know. He's on a mission to find his murdered brother's remains and resurrect him. But resurrection means that the secrets carried into death would be released, and with them a war that could end gods and mankind alike. Roxy Tam is searching for the same thing, but for completely different reasons. She means to make certain that the remains don't fall into Sutek's hands, and that the Soul Reapers do not reanimate their fallen comrade. As a daughter of Asset, Roxy is tasked with the protection of the human race, and if that means thwarting an all-powerful Soul Reaper and making certain his dead brother stays dead, so be it. But when Roxy sees Dagon face to face, she realizes that she has met him once before, a meeting that changed her life forever. Neither Dagon nor Roxy expects to join forces for the sake of mankind, or to have their loyalties tested as they struggle against treachery, betrayal, and the potent desire that threatens to consume them both. And then there's a bunch of blurbs from different authors praising this book. So let's go ahead and move on to Lady Apprentice, written by Tony Cabell. This has 370 ratings with a 4.04 average and is book number 1 in the Serving Magic series. Additional genre tags we have are young adult, magic, romance, fae, death, coming of age, supernatural, and it also has Amazon. Again, that could be the store, and it could be like the Amazon River or Amazon Jungle. Who knows? I'll find out when I read it. More than likely the store, but... Her homeland under siege, a dark sorcerer hot on her trail. All the prophecies say Lyndon can stop him. Who are they kidding? Lyndon is the worst mage apprentice at her school. Her latest disaster, accidentally destroying her classroom when a small hooded figure pops up inside the fireball she's just conjured. Lyndon is sent to the headmaster's office to be formally expelled, when she is saved by the bell, quite literally. Someone is frantically ringing the bell inside the watchtower overlooking the western frontier. Soon, all the bells in town, from the government buildings to the chapels and private residences, are ringing out the same warding code. Raiders are coming, in broad daylight, wearing the uniforms of the enemy army. In the days following the raid, rumors began to fly about the invading commander, with dark powers and an even darker mission, and for some reason Lyndon has yet to fathom he's taken a personal interest in her and her unruly magic. Medusa Deception, written by Linda Temple. This is book number 1 in the Medusa Legacy. This has 73 ratings with a 3.79 average. Mythology, thriller, and paranormal are the additional tags. Dreams, they're only dreams. Strange, brutal dreams, straight out of the pages of an ancient Greek mythology book. That's what Mandy Burkhart tells herself, stocking shelves at the occult bookstore in Chicago. Her boss senses more. He feels something, an awakening, the prophecy. The others can too, even if they can't quite put a finger on it. As the hidden power inside of her grows, an ancient spell comes to life, compelling her back to her rightful time and place, ancient Greece, a barbaric era of witches and gods, gorgons and oracles. Witnessed by new friend Ryan Taylor, Mandy's disappearances can no longer be denied. Together they try to discover what's happening to her and why, but in the process become targets in a deadly and sinister plot. Caged, trussed, shackled, and hunted, Mandy must come to terms with her past and fight for her future in a bloody battle with even more at stake than she knows. Okay, and these last 4 books in this video are all part of the same series. So the series is Fate of Wizardoms, written by Jeffrey L. Koenig. So this first one I'm going to tell you about is a prequel. It is book number 0.6. This one is called Legend of Shadowmar. This has 188 ratings with a 4.19 average. Epic, and this one is a novella. It does list that this is only 60 pages for this particular book. So this one says, a clever thief, a grizzled warrior, a legendary castle guarded by a monster of myth. When presented with the opportunity of a lifetime, young and arrogant Jarrell Landish cannot refuse. Teamed with a renowned warrior, he embarks on a quest hundreds of adventurers have attempted. None have ever returned. His locate and legendary castle, defeat the guardian protecting it, and obtain the treasure hidden within. If only he knew what lurked in the castle ruins. If only he understood the dangerous nature of the treasures he sought to claim. Book number 1 is called Eye of Obscurance. This one has 712 ratings with a 4.04 average. High fantasy, young adult are the additional tags. In a realm where wizards rule, magic reigns supreme. Power, the ambitious thirst for it. In a realm where wizards rule, those able to claim the throne are granted the power of a god. How can one defeat a god? A clever thief, a determined acrobat, and a troubled dwarf are joined by an old storyteller as they attempt the impossible, assassinate a wizard lord. Their slim hope lies in the power of an enchanted amulet, the Eye of Obscurance. These unwitting pawns are trapped in a contest of wizards. The stakes, the fate of the world. And this one is a full-length novel. It says 300 pages, so I imagine the rest of these will be full-length. So, book number 2 in this series is Balance of Magic with 421 ratings and a 4.12 average. This one also has the tag of dragons. Ruthless wizards vie for a vacant throne. The result could alter the balance of magic and doom their world. A wizard lord is dead, the result of an exotic scheme made possible by an amulet known as Eye of Obscurance. What if the amulet falls into the wrong hands? It spelled it wrong. It said, what if the amulet fall into the wrong hands? It's supposed to be falls. Anyway. With a throne vacant, a rival wizard lord seeks to expand his power, capturing prayers meant for another and strengthening his magic beyond anything ever recorded. The world will tremble should his power rise to that of 2 gods. And then the third book in this series and the last one in this video is Temple of the Oracle, 343 ratings with a 4.13 average. And no additional genre tags to tell you about. A wizard lord bent on conquest. Mythical creatures return and threaten the lands. A foreboding future awaits. Thrones lie vacant, while a power-hungry wizard lord seeks world domination. Armed with unequaled power, who can stop his mad lust for conquest? Monsters from legend arise and stalk the land. Who or what is behind their return? The Seers of Kelmar, a reclusive sect of prophets, claim the future has become obscured from their visions. What foreboding future awaits the 8 wizardoms? A band of reluctant heroes embark on a quest to stop the chaos sweeping over the 8 wizardoms. Can they prevent the end of their world? And that's it. So those are the books in, as of right now, for my ebook fantasy haul. Let me know, have you read any of these books? Have you read from any of these authors? Do any of these books sound intriguing to you? Let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.